Kim Kardashian, the triumphant move from an adorable child to a savvy businesswoman. Of the number of persons in the Kardashian family, one figure seems to stand out reportedly. And to be honest, this is not a result of being one-sided to the party involved. Kim Kardashian is, without a doubt, one of the key figures in the family and is one of the reasons people have continued to sit through long hours of the day watching new and old episodes of the family drama on the aired reality show. Who is Kim Kardashian? Who was she before fame crossed through her part? What shadows have loomed over the celebrity businesswoman and fashion icon over the years? We cover all of that in a few. But before we get to that, let's throw it back to the beginning. Chapter 1, The Days of Little Beginnings. To become famous, you come from a family of rich and famous people, or you go out and get things done yourself. For most people, it is usually one of both. But for the famous Kim K, it is, without a doubt, a mix of both. Kim Kardashian, born Kimberly Noel Kardashian, was born as the second daughter to Robert Kardashian, her father, and Kris Jenner, her mother, on the 21st of October 1980 in the heart of Los Angeles, California, U.S. She is the eldest of Khloe and Rob, and the younger sibling to Kourtney, all of whom have in one way made themselves reputable forces in the entertainment industry today. Growing up, Kim attended an all-girls Roman Catholic school called Marymount High School in Los Angeles. But while it might seem like the Kardashian children have had a short view and access to people of diverse nationalities, it is essential that we add here that the Kim family traces their origin to an awfully large mix of various backgrounds. Robert's family, for instance, is known to be third-generation Armenians-American, while Kris's family has its roots in Dutch, English, Irish, and Scottish ancestry. In the long run, perhaps, her long and complicated ancestry has shaped how Kim Kardashian has always found it hard to remain in the shadows, covered by every other person's limelight. From a very young age, Kim K had one thing cleared. She knew she wanted to be famous. For a young kid, that dream wasn't really peculiar to her. However, what would distinguish the dream she had as a kid from all others, would be how she managed to make the dream become a reality. It would be how she has managed to climb up the ladder of fame and stay at the very top. But through it all, as we see, she has had to make choices that many would have shied away from, even her siblings. Chapter 2, The Trial That Would Shape Kim's Perspective of Fame. Wanting to be famous as a kid is quite common. But even as she grew and matured in age and brain power, Kim knew that what she wanted the most about the Socialist Club was to be somewhere up the food chain. One thing that would shape the view of fame she had and propel her family name into the mouths of many was the trial of her godfather, O.J. Simpson, the American former footballer, actor, and broadcaster who played for the Buffalo Bills and San Francisco 49ers of the National Football League. Prior to 1994, the nickname Juice was a close family friend of the Kardashian family. But when the allegations began to sink in, Robert Kardashian knew it was time to come to the aid of his friend. An aid that would end up letting him lose his family. Juice had been accused of the murders of his ex-wife and her friend Nicole Brown and Ron Goldman. Never turning himself in, he made a spectacle of his arrest in the car chase of June 17, now dubbed the Bronco car chase. After the low-speed chase and his subsequent arrest, the trial began. The trial was known to be the most publicized trial in American history and the trial of the century, given the international appeal that trailed the trial. But there at the helm of OJ's defense team was Robert Kardashian. While Robert tried to shield his family from the backlash from people damning his name for supporting someone who had reportedly killed 2 people, the negativity found its way into his family. In the end, Robert would bring home the fatigue of his job and the sadness of seeing his friend go through the 11-month trial, and it would eventually cost him his family as Kris would divorce him. The negativity was, without a doubt, impeccable. But what it did to the Kardashian family name was to push it farther into the limelight than it already was, seeing as the family was a notable wealthy one, to begin with. From the trial of her godfather, one thing was imprinted on her heart of Kimberly. Perhaps it was the constant talk of their family and their connection to the infamous trial, or the way little clips of her family got to be aired on E! News when the reference was drawn to her father. Whatever it was, the trial period sealed her childhood dream. She knew for a fact that she wanted to be famous, she wanted to be one of the most famous people in the world, and although she had no clue how that was to happen, she knew she would make it all work out. Chapter 3, The Steady Rise. So, how did Kim Kardashian rise from the soccer-loving young girl who was her father's favorite to the reality TV star, social media influencer and entrepreneur? For many years, many people have traced the start of Kim's career into the limelight to her being the personal assistant of Paris Hilton. But in recent years, we now understand that that was never the case. Kimberly knew how to associate herself with rich and famous people. In place of being her assistant, Kim Kardashian was her closet organizer, as she was for a number of wealthy and famous people like Lindsay Lohan, Nicole Richie, Rob Lowe and Brandy being the one that would push her to the breakout stage of fame. In her first stages on the lookout for fame, Kim Kardashian decided to use her brother's influence. After the separation following the O.J. trial, Kris married Bruce Jenner in 1991, earning Kim's step-siblings and half-siblings. One of the stepbrothers she got was Brody Jenner. Using her Broody, she got on the most popular reality TV show of that time and appeared in multiple scenes in Season 2 at Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt's housewarming party. While the experience was a stepping stone in her career, the scenes she featured in ended up remaining in the cutting room, and her fame would start from someone she knew during the years of her arranging wealthy and famous people's closets. With a similar scenario of two different parties, their reactions and outcomes to an event might vary. This is very true in the way Kim would handle the next chapter of her life, the chapter that separated her name from the Kardashian family and helped propel the family to the point of fame. In working on Brandy's closet, she met his brother Ray J. The details of their dating remained uncontroversial. However, it was through Ray J that the infamous sex tape of Kim Kardashian would be made and ultimately released to the public. This is where she played her game right. When something controversial comes up, a celebrity can either cower in shame or defend it as much as they would like. The latter was the case with Kim Kardashian. While she and her manager denied all involvement in how the tape was released to the world, the coming boost of fame would say otherwise. More so, after a while had passed, Steve Hirsch, of Page Six, stated that the tape had come from a third party. However, this still meant that they needed and must have gotten permission from both Ray J and Kim Kardashian before releasing the tape. He stated that it was one of his life's most complicated deals, but it was done in the end. After his truth, it was revealed that Kim had made over $5 million from the release and sale of the footage. In retrospect, the scandal not only gave Kim $5 million but also gave a much-needed boost to her pursuit of fame. However, many wonder why she had to go through all of this stress to become famous, since she was already getting the fame she wanted and was called the IT girl across magazines. From the fame of the leaked sex tape, the reality show of their family, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, aired for the first time on the 14th of October 2007, making many think the sex tape was to market the release of the reality TV show. After the tape, the second bit to the efficient rise of her fame was her former boyfriend, Nick Lachey. Nick Lachey, the former star of the reality show The Newlyweds Nick and Jessica, began dating Kim at the height of his fame up until their divorce. After they had broken things off, he reported that the paparazzi just always seemed to know where to find them. He referenced them going to the cinema with no paparazzi in tow and exiting it with about 30 photographers waiting at the entrance, drawing an inference that Kim fed the paparazzi information on their whereabouts to heighten her fame. While it is unclear if Kim K did this knowingly, one thing is certain, she was at the beneficial end of the hype around their relationship. Chapter 4: The Red Flags and Scandals That Trail the Kimberly Name. The Kardashians family has remained on the edge of controversies and scandals. Being a member of this celebrity family, it is impossible that the scandals and controversies would not find their way to you. For Kim K, the scandals did. However, there are also personal controversies that have rocked her name. Of course, the scandal of her sex tape and entry into the entertainment industry remains the highlight of all scandals she is connected to. The rest center around cultural appropriation. The first of its kind was in 2013. In 2013, Kim was spotted beautifully rocking a braided hairstyle in a video she posted on Twitter. The braids were not the problem. Many found issues with Kim naming the braided style Bo Derek and taking ownership of the style. People began to point out how this style of braids has been worn by the Fulani women for decades, accusing Kim of trying to steal black heritage and painting it in a different light. In 2018, another picture of the Bo Derek style came up, and the same backlash resulted, but this time it was with a much more heated intensity, forcing her to declare that she never meant to take credit for the style. She denied ever seeing the first public outrage. More so, in 2019, Kim came under another racial backlash from the public. This time, it was centered around her blackface for the 7 Hollywood magazine photo shoot. Her face and body tone in the pictures was noticeably darker than usual. As expected, she was accused of donning blackface and wearing it like an accessory. Chapter 5: Who Kimberly Kardashian is today. Today, Kim Kardashian is known as an American television personality and entrepreneur who garnered international fame for her personal life and has found a way to make the fame from her life work to boost her social standing and financial scorecard. She has used her highly controversial but famous space to market products, serving endorsement purposes for brands to her followers and fans. Then, there are numerous business ventures she has been linked to, including a fitness DVD series, a credit card, various beauty products, and a game app that allows users to create their celebrity. She is well worth over $1.4 billion and earns between $50 and $80 million yearly. She has continued to live the famous life she dreamed of as a child, regardless of the pains and tears of being a public figure.